A quick disclaimer before we start, I've made 2 videos previous on the topic of predicting the Nobel Prize in literature. The first video that I made about this is, I think, the oldest video on my channel that's still up. And in that video, I just rattled off like 100 names. It doesn't really count as a predictions if I list every author. I think Annie Ernaux was in that list, but Abdul Razak Gurna most certainly was not. Last year, I made a video predicting specifically the 2023 Nobel Prize in Literature, and I did say Jon Fosse, and I actually said him first in my prediction. But I listed off so many names in that video too that I can't really claim to have predicted something or be a genius. It's like having most of the tickets in the raffle. So I'm gonna make some rules for myself with regards to predictions from now. From now on, I can only predict authors that I have read. I can't predict authors based on other people's hype. And I'm also only going to predict 3 names each year. And I'm gonna do that next year too, and for the foreseeable future. We're gonna make it more of a gamble. I'm gonna predict 3 names each year, and that way, if I get it right each year, it's more of like a, oh, I'm so good. For my first prediction, we're going to China. For many years, the person who's been topping the betting odds has been the avant-garde Chinese author San Shui. She's written many books, and she's also appeared on, I believe, the International Man Booker lists occasionally. And if you're interested in the prize, you know who she is. She is a Chinese lady who writes books for weirdos. Having read 2 full books from her, I can confidently say that you are all smoking the good kush. No, she will not win. If the committee don't ever want to leave Europe, why would they leave Europe for the actual weirdest author out there? There's no way. If they're going to China, there's an option that makes way more sense to me, and that's Jan Lianke. Jan Lianke is a prolific author who has been on the shortlist for the International Man Booker with his novel The 4 Books. I have only read 1 from him, which was Dream of Ding Village, which I've talked about previously, and it was excellent. That author also applies touches of the surreal that you find in absolute avalanches in San Shui, and he also writes about China in a way that's quite incendiary. And Dream of Ding Village is a book that I can imagine being banned in China, and I looked it up and it was. He just aligns more with previous picks that the Nobel Committee have made, and personally that's just the hunch that I'm going on. So number 1 for me is Jan Lianke. I think he's going to get it. For my second prediction, I'm going to go to Australia, and I have talked about this man extensively, but I'm just gonna keep saying Gerald Murnane until he gets it. Jon Fosse translated Gerald Murnane into Scandinavian languages, and he has admitted that he finds him very impressive. If the previous Nobel Prize winner has said that he loves him, then I think it's a good chance. J.M. Coetzee also loves him. I mean, look, there's a lot of people who praise him, and his profile is only widened. I don't feel the need to repeat myself on him. I've read a few of his books. My family owns most of them. But I think that he would be a cool winner. I don't love everything he's written, but 1 book from him is maybe my favorite Australian book. If he doesn't win the Nobel Prize this year, I'll make a video about that particular book later on. But he is kind of an Australian Jon Fosse to me, and you snobs in the comments can get, well, they're actually very different. They actually have a lot of distinctions, but I see them as very similar. I'm going to predict another author from Australia as my 3rd and final pick, and I'm going to say her with my whole chest because I'm starting to think it might happen, and that is Alexis Wright. We're gonna do it. Let's just all send it. If we just overwhelm them and insist that she should get it, then surely she will. I would squeal like a baby pig if she won. Everybody who's interested in books, actually interested as opposed to the Booker Committee, know that Praiseworthy is the book of the year, and if she won, that would be phenomenal. She would be one of the coolest winners for the prize. It might be a little soon for her to get it. It took them like 2 years to give it to Jon Fosse after the Septology, and she's only just finished Praiseworthy and released it. So it's possible they might have to wait a couple of years, but I think she's in the conversation now. I think she's been catapulted in there, and there is an absolute certainty that she will be submitted this year, regardless of how good her chances are. And those are my 3 predictions for the Nobel Prize in Literature this year. It has to be one of those 3 for me to claim bragging rights. I'll have a reaction up and ready when they announce the winner, and I'll also be buying the author's books to review them if I haven't got them already, and I'll have a review of their books and of them as a winner up, hopefully shortly after the announcement. In my reaction video from last year, I just ranted about how good the new Saw film was. Unfortunately, we haven't got a new Saw film this year, so you're probably going to get a normal video. Sorry about that. Thank you all. Bye!